Chilu, could you please stop sharing your screen?
Yeah. You can share your screen now. Perfect. So now I will just raise the request. Now just accept it. Yes. Okay, so session variables are nothing but, suppose while you are running your process, we already know that we are going to run our process in the control room, right? One second, guys. So while we are running from the control room, so if you want to monitor any variable, okay, so if you want to monitor any variables in the control room, so while it's running, so we will use the session variables. Okay, suppose you are doing some transactions of thousands of transactions you are doing, so you want to monitor how many transactions at that moment we have done it. Okay, so if you want to monitor any variable, otherwise, any, suppose you're getting values from the website, that if you want to see that variable, we are getting the particular data or not. So everything you can able to do it. If you want to monitor any variables while the process is running from the control room, you can able to see that variables are called session variables. Okay, so depending upon the case, you will use in the real time. So see how we're gonna create the session variables. While your process is running from the control room, see when you're running, you can't able to see any variables right here. So now there is a separate action is there. See, show session variables. If you click on that one, you can able to see the variables. Okay, what is the whatever we have logic there we are implementing, exactly that one we can able to see it here. That may be counter, that may be value of some site, that may be value of some particular field. So everything you can able to manage. So you can't see all the variables, right? So you can able to see only session variables from the control. Let's see how we're going to implement. And one more important question they will ask you. Before running and after your process completed, you can't see the session variables. While your process is running, on the time only you can able to see the session variables. Before running the process and after completing the process, you can't able to see the session variables. While your process is running in the control room, on that moment only you can able to see the session variable. Clear? So for the same, I will give a example. You guys can able to see it. So expose, see session, export the data item to control room. This is you have to select here. And I'm saying I'm taking one counter. Zero is the default value. So first, for just monitoring that item, so I will create one logic here. So as I told you, so if I use a small logic, within fraction of second, that logic gonna compare in the control room, so that you can't able to see the variables properly. So I will create a logic, so that will run for 2 minutes. So that will in this meanwhile in 2 minutes you can able to see the variables how the change is happening for the particular variables you can able to observe. See, I will implement the logic for the same now. Interview they will ask the questions on the session variables like how can we able to monitor session variables from the control room. Yes, we can able to monitor. So these kind of questions they will ask you, and how you will implement the session variable logic and so they will ask you. Just while creating the data item in the exposure, you have to select the session expose the data item to the control room. So this one you have to select here. That's it. And the logic implementing. If it is yes, then I will do connect to the end. If not, I will sleep. So in process also we can able to sleep. Sleep action means wait action we can able to use. Okay, that is utility general is the review. Utility general is not the writing, so we have to import. So I'm importing the utility general review. In the utility general, there is an option called sleep. So here you can mention for 2 seconds. So it will wait for the 2 seconds. In the process also we can able to use the wait stage. So that is by using the utility general review and action is the sleep. So this is also one of the interview question. So many people will think, so we can use the wait in the object studio. In process studio also we can able to wait without calling the objects, without creating the object studio. Directly we have the review called utility general. There we have 3 actions are there: process exists, Windows exists, sleep. So sleep is our required action. Okay, yes, I have implemented the logic. So I just execute them. So if I want to see this process in the control room, you have to check here, public list to control room, right? So I'm closing this process. Studio. And you can see session variables. Let's just drag and drop on the resource. Now see, I'm running this process. And then you can click on the session variables. See, counter equal to 1. So it waits for 2 seconds and then 2. So we can able to matter and we can able to edit the value also. We can modify the session variables. We can monitor the session variables from the control loop. Still check the logic again. How many seconds are waiting? 2 seconds. It's running. Wait for the 2 seconds, then it will increment the value. Wait for the 2 seconds, it is incrementing the value. After completing, you can't see. While it's running only, you can able to monitor that variable. So this is about the session variables. Let's I stop it. So see, after completed, you can't able to see the variable. See, before running the process, after completing the process, you can't able to see the session variables. Okay, here most of the people will get stuck. Before running the process and after completing the process, you can't able to see the session variables. Session variables we can able to monitor in the control room. Session variables you can able to edit from the control room while the process is running. Okay, this is about the session variables. And one more thing. So there are some cases we have a concept in the real time called MI report generation. Means management information is there. Suppose so you have when MI report generation will work if you have implemented a workflow logic. Okay. So suppose I want to get some data of last 6 months. Okay. Otherwise last 5 months. Okay. Every time it has to ask when you are running the process, it has to ask the start time and end time every time. Okay. So those kind of things will implement the input parameters. Okay. Whenever you run the process, there is a pop-up will come in the control room. There you have to give the inputs. Okay. If this kind of your features if you require before running the process. So when you run the process in the control room, so before the execution is started, so it asks some requirements. Suppose for consider MI report is one of the examples. So while we are creating the MI report, we will create the start time and end time. So from when to when they want to have the report. So that we won't take last 6 months, last 1 month, we can't take it. So depending upon their input, we have to produce the output. See how I will implement the simple logic for the same input parameter. The start will create. So for example, just I want to create addition of 2 numbers. I'm going to perform now. So data 1 plus data 2. So I need to get these values, data 1, data values when when I'm running the process dynamically. So that is the logic I'm implementing now. So in the real time, we will use these input parameters in many ways, like MI reports. So suppose like, login agent is there, one of the function. Next I will go to compare that while you are running the login agent also you have to give some inputs. Connected. So now I'm gonna create in the main, if you create see now I will publish this to control room. Close. Done. So this data 1, data 2, I will give the randomly while I'm running the process. So while I'm running the process, so it will give the pop-up where I have to enter the values. From the control room only, you can able to observe this logic. Input parameters. These are called startup parameters, not input parameters. This is in pending state. Start selection. See, it is asking you 2 inputs. So if you give the values, it will execute the logic. Okay, this is about the startup parameters.
So Chilu, so like as soon as we run the process from the control room, does it automatically run this process?
Yes, yes, automatically it will run.
Okay, but like where can we see the end result of the
end result? Na, you can able to see here. Suppose this is session variable, right? So click on view log.
Okay.
This is the view log file, so which will have all the result. Okay, if any bugs is happening, so this file, those supporting peoples, the testing peoples will send this in a suite.
Okay, so it doesn't display in the UI, so we just need to open the log and see.
Okay. Yes, those people, suppose if you are given that logic, so what they will do, they will running from the control room. In the control room, they will execute the logic. So if there are any bugs are there, here it won't be completed. It will be like terminated. It will show. This now it is a completed, right? So it will show the terminated. Terminated nothing but some exception has happened. So what they will do, they don't know where exactly happening, and they are not the developers, right? So what they will do, file, export, text file. Oh, somewhere will be there. Nani.txt. So there you can able to see the file.
Okay.
Okay. So this is how we can able to see what is happening after input. So see every stage. So while your process running, you can able to observe every logic here.
Okay.
So this is starting. After that, you have checked this condition. Then after that, it has wait for 2 seconds. Then incrementing the counter. Then again, it is waiting for how the logic is implementing the same steps here. It will be there. So decision having false. So it has now it is going to the false path. So like that, we have to check.
Okay.
This is about the control room startup parameters and the session variables. So for the interview purpose, I expect you. So they may ask you questions, depending upon your position. So what the startup parameters means, when you are running the process, if you want to have any input, so before executing the process, you can able to get the startup parameters. If you get the startup parameters, then automatically the values are gonna assign into your logic. And the second one is the session variable. So if you want to monitor any variables while your process is running, you will create the session variable. So that is session variable. Any questions here? And testing peoples when they are running the bot, so here depending upon your status, if it's completed, they won't send any report. If the terminated means there is an exception has happened, right? So for that they will export this, but they'll right click on it, vlog file, and they are exporting this one they will put it into the document and they will share us. Okay, we have to go through the document and we will check all the conditions in the same document and we will modify the code and we will send them back. So that is how the flow will be there in the real time.
Okay, so the people only who runs the bots and all, they will have access only to the control area. Okay.
Control room and the system. Why? Because environment variables they have to update, right? Environment variables, credentials.
Okay.
So
Okay.
those things they will do update before that. There is a document called prerequisites for the bot. Before running the bot, what are the changes we have to make? There is a separate document is there. SIP, solution implementation procedure, something document is there. So in that one, we'll do mention all these things. So they have to update those environment variables, credentials before running a bot. Like that, we will explain. Right? And while they're testing, they will do test like that. After completing the process completely, so they will do schedule it according to the particular application availability time. So see here, I'm creating one schedule. Right click on a new schedule. So here you have to give the schedule name. Model system consider. So when it has to run once maybe once only one time or weekly, hourly, monthly, daily, yearly. So everything you can able to mention here. So these all the things will be done by the board controllers and all. So if you have a knowledge, then it will have the more advantage to the profile. And starting date will give, end date will give. Okay, and after that, here you will click on this task. Here you will add what is your process and how to execute it. Like that. So this is your resource and this one has to be run. Apply changes. That's it. You have done with the system scheduling. But scheduling won't run in our personal laptops or PCs. So it will run in the only VMs. Virtual machine only it will run. Other questions?
So normally on the available resources page, it will show us what are the VMs available, right?
Correct. And they will give the VM number. There in the real time, you can see there are lots of VMs. There are some 10 to 15, depends upon their client infrastructure. So there will be VMs are there. So they will do schedule according to that particular time. So actually, there are some application will be get slower and sometimes it will work properly in other times. So like server busy, server low. So all depending upon all the timings and all, they're gonna schedule it.
Okay.
So time zones and which time the process supporting people are available. Everything they will do calculate and on that purpose they will gonna schedule the bot.
So for suppose when for a session or like for a schedule, that machine is not available and that job failed to run. So in that case, like where you guys, like where the support guys will see the
Here only.
here only. Oh, okay,
Yeah.
everything in this dashboard only. Okay.
Yeah, here only they can see stop terminated like that. So they'll open it and they will check it and why it has terminated and all.
Okay.
Actually, in the real time, this is the process, right? So there is a one more process will run before running any process. That is called the login agent. Like suppose if your machine is in a sleep mode, if your machine is unlocked, machine is locked, the screen is locked, so it will do unlock automatically if we run that process. So I will show you that process now. I will implement that one. That is concept is called the login agent. Let me know once you can able to see my screen.
Yeah, you can see your screen.
You can see.
So what is the question is that if we are running the process on the VM, suppose now there is around some night you're running, right? Some night, some 11 p.m. you're running the pod from 11 p.m. to morning 3 a.m. Suppose that is the time where you have to run the process. But meanwhile, the VM is free, right? So that may went to in a lock state, like the screen lock is gonna happen. So how we gonna achieve those? Okay, if your screen is locked, then if you run the process, so if you are interacting with any business object, like if you are opening some browsers and all, so that is won't work. Okay, the process is gonna stuck over there. In order to overcome that issue, we have one separate process is there. So before running our original process, they will run that process every time. That is called the login agent. By using the login agent, if your monitor is in sleep mode, it will do unlock it. Okay, it can log in and it can unlock the screen. So both functions it can do. So see, and if you want to, if login agent has to work on the particular VM, there are some configurations they have to made it before running the login agent. These things will be done by those networking people. Like there's Control Alt H. The screen is there. No, there are some settings they have to make it, and there are some login agent one software is there, so they have to install that software in a particular VM. So those things they have to make it, and after that we will create one code. There is a VBOI there, just we have to call the functions. That's it. So I'm checking now. There are two functions are there. As I told you, it will unlock the screen. Okay, it will log into the machine. Both functions it can do. Okay, so depending upon your that VM configurations and all, they will run the process. Okay, so how they will do? So I will create here process here, like log into the unlock VM. So before running my original process, before scheduling my original process, before 5 minutes they will run this login agent. Because once you open the system, so it will take some 1 or 2 minutes to refresh everything, right? Applications and everything, right? So for that, so before running your main process, before 5 minutes they will run the login agent. After they run the login agent, after 5 minutes they will schedule this process. So that is how they will do in the real time. Login agent first, then the process. Login agent first, then the process. Like that, it will be there in the real time. Right? Is locked. Flag is there. Is locked means screen is locked or not. First, you need to get the credentials, Windows credentials. First, I want to get the credentials first. Okay, after getting the credentials, but because in the unlock screen, I need to give the inputs called password, right? So this is the local or VM, it will be there. So this is the password thing I need to pass. Okay, passwords I need to get it from the credentials. Suppose if this lock is true only, it will go to this direction. If not, it will go to the end, and after 5 minutes, our main process will run.
So like normally this login and unlocking and all these things also like we will implement in the same process, or will it be a different process that they run before this?
This is a different process, and this will be common for every bot. This
Okay.
is different one, so they will have separate. This functionality is a static one. So before running any real-time process in the VM, they will run this.
Okay, and they have the same kind of credentials for every VM, maybe. Okay.
We are getting the credentials now. Credentials name is there,
Okay.
so we are going to get the credentials name. We can execute it.
Okay.
Okay. So we have another call. Environment utility. Get resource name something. Get machine name, right? So now see, it will take the machine name. Suppose if it's a different VM, it will take the machine name and it will execute it.
Okay.
So dynamic it works. So credentials for the we no need to give the credential number directly. Here we'll give the machine name. So according to machine name, the credentials they're gonna create it. Okay. Now no issues. So if it's a different VM also it will. This is about the screen is locked or not. Okay, and one more function we have is log into the VM. Okay, so if your machine has on, then we can able to log in by using the login agent. Your machine has on, but it's not logging in. Okay, you can able to log in by using the login agent. See here. Is logged in. Right, so this is the variable. Logging in or not. If it is not logging, we will do login. We already have the login function. So take the decision. Let the plot. So same login. If you want to log in also, you need to get the credentials, right? So same, I can copy the same status here. Here I will give the login function. The user and password, you're gonna get it from the credentials, right? So those things you have to pass. Domain name, those people will give the domain name. That's it. Switch. If it is login equal to false, equal to okay, login equal to true, then no need to do anything. Right? So switch. If it is yes, then no need to do anything. If not, then we have to take the credentials name and credentials. We will get the credentials and we'll log into the VM. Actually, before that, we have to evaluate the credentials. We will got the proper credentials or not. We will just execute it, and we have to do the remaining operation. Okay, they will run first this process. They will check whether it's suppose if you run this one before this, what is happening? Screen lock automatically false, right? So it may be if it is screen lock is false, there may be the two reasons. Right? If you're not logging also, the screen lock is gonna happen, right? So first they will check whether it's logging in or not. After logging in, it will check whether its screen is unlocked or not. So after that, they will run our main process. Okay, for this login agent and our main process, we have the 5 minutes of gap. Because if it is not logging, once you log into the system for the first time, you know it will take for 2-3 minutes for loading all the applications and all, right? So for that, we will give the 5 minutes of startup time. Startup time. So after 5 minutes, our main process is gonna run. Questions? It's about the login agent. First, we will check. We will do login. Then after that, we will unlock screen. We will check. After that, we will go for our main process to execute.
Okay.
And if you're running the process studio, you no need to unlock the screen. But if you interact with any objects, like opening the browser and doing the functionalities, so that when you are doing those things, your screen has to be unlocked. So that is why in our main process also we will check this unlock screen sometimes. Just will copy paste this code to that particular page. That's it. Suppose this is your main process, right? So like this also we'll do it. So before running your everything, so I will check whether it's unlocked or not. Right. So, but login agent has to run before running this process before running. So we'll check the logging, the particular system has logged into the VM or not. The VM has logged in or not. So before running the main process, we have to check it. Unlock screen you can check in any process. But in main process you can check by, because there are if there is a gap is there, your system may get into sleep mode and that. Okay. Then in order to work on that, we will implement this logic. The questions? This is how the real-time process will look like. I can see. It's an email alerts. Okay, so the leftover topics are so these are done. Control done. GPV go is there. Global send keys, web services, so now these are the pending topics. Okay, so yesterday's dynamic variable one, so I will take the price. Okay, this one I don't know whether you have practiced or not. I mean, if you want me to do, I will do it. Otherwise, you guys will try it me. So I will leave it with this particular thing. You want me to explain the same? Yesterday you have taken only the product name, right? So now I need to get the price of the product also.
I think we will try that, Chilu. Otherwise, you can tell us in the next week.
Yeah, sure. So if you want, I will export the process also in the code block. I will update that code as well. Let's see this one. Here I'll upload that code. So you guys will aggregate that code with the price. Okay. So that is your task. And let me know in next week if you can't do, then I will gonna work on it. Right. And I will discuss about the global send keys and global send key events. And the pop-up also, suppose you are working in any browser application, there's a confirmation pop-ups are happening, right? So yes, or cancel, save, cancel, something like that. So for those pop-ups in the same business object, we can't handle. So this is also another important question. So how to handle the pop-ups? So you can't say that I will spy the pop-up and I will do it in the same business object, right? Because if the pop-up is in opening in the different window, right? So in the same business object, in the same, suppose Facebook login you're doing, right? So in the same, you are logged into the Facebook, so there is another pop-up is coming, confirmation pop-ups. Those particular pop-up you should not handle the same business object. If you want to handle the pop-ups, you have to take another business object and you have to attach to that particular pop-up and you have to click on that OK. Alright? Actually, I told that URL should be there. So if it's the URL, then I would have explained you. You see.
So like even though the pop-up is coming from the same page, you still need to create another object.
Correct. We have to create another app. And there are some applications like window-based applications. We can't able to when there are some window-based application we can able to implement the same business object, and some other other applications like SAP applications and all, we have to create the separate business object. You have to attach that one, then you can able to spy the elements properly. You can't able to spy the elements only. You will get the spying exception if you're doing the same business object. Okay, you can say that first I will try to implement the same business object. If is there any spying exception will happen, so I will create a separate business object. In the business object, I will attach to that pop-up and I will execute the same. Like that, you have to explain. The candidate has shared some URL, but I forgot. You guys are practicing. If you face any issues like pop-up and all, let me know so that we can practice in here. Yes, one of the example with the code stage and it is for you. Take a look at time. Right, so now I will explain about the global send keys and global send keys. Right? Okay, if you want to pass any keystrokes, okay, control, shift, alt, space, so okay, backspace or down button, up button, everything you can able to execute by using the option called global send keys. Okay, by using the global send keys and global send key events, we can able to pass the keystrokes from the keyboard. Whatever you are, you can able to see all those keystrokes. You can able to pass it. Okay, there is a concept called global send keys and global send key events. The global send keys and global send key events both are same, but there are some applications which global send keys won't work. In that situation, we go for the global send key events. First priority every time is the global send keys. We have to use it first. If you can't able to implement the logic with the global send keys, then you have to go for the global send key events. So surface automation, Citrix kind of application only we will use the global send key events mainly. So remaining all the application will support the global send keys. By using the global send keys, we're gonna pass the keystrokes. All the tab, shift, control, alt, space, everything you can able to pass. Okay, there are some rules are there to how to pass the global send keys and global send key events. There is a document is there. See, these are the global send keys and these are the global send key event syntax. Okay, if you want to pass the shift, you can just place is enough to pass the shift. But here you have to pass the shift like this. Okay, you should put that there is some how to pass the keys. Every key there is a separate symbol is there. So depending upon that, you have to pass it. The global send key events, whenever you pass any keystroke, key press, key release, and two options are there. So if you click on the control, so again you have to release the control. So that is how you have to pass the global send key events. So global send key is not like that. Just the that symbols we have to pass. Okay. So this document also I will do share. So now we will implement one small logic with the global send keys. See, I will open one notepad. I will open the notepad. I will write some data. I won't spy. Okay, I didn't even use a spy. Only global with the global syndic events only I can execute the same. I will write some data. I will pass the control yes. If you if you pass the control yes, you can see there is a save as pop-up, right? The save as pop-up. So here you have to mention the file name, and then click on enter. See, that one is you can able to see it. No. See, so same logic I will do implement the Bluetooth. So what I'm doing, I'm opening one notepad. I'm creating one business subject. Opening the notepad. I'm writing some data. Then I will do control yes. Then I'm entering the file name. Then I will pass the enter. So control is the global send keys and enter is also global send keys. I will do pass it. And the data also I can able to pass with the global send keys. So how I'm gonna pass it, you can see it now. So first I will take the notepad exe file location. Shift right click copy as part. Application modular. Next, oh, it's the window based application, right? So click on window based application. Notepad is the Notepad is the window based application. So I have selected the window based application here. You can next. Yes, my application is launching Finance executive file. So that path I'm going first without double quotations. Next, 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 next. Okay. You can launch. Yes, the notepad is opening. So now I will execute the logic. So fine, first I will everything I will do implement the single page. After that, I will divide the page according to the best practices. Okay. Root element. Launch. See, every time if you take the navigate stage, so in the actions you can see global send keys, global send key events, attach, detach, launch, termination. Right. So this is the logic which we're gonna implement now. So global send keys, global send key events. Okay. First, before that, first you have to launch the application, right? So I'm launching the application. So there is a data is there which I want to write it in the document. So after launching the application, I will wait for 2 seconds, static wait. So as we know that first after opening that application, so we need to write the data into it, right? So first write the data, then control S, then file name, then the enter. This is the sequence manner, one by one we'll do it. So I will select the global send keys. Here you can pass directly. I'm passing the data. So after now I will do execute. I'll just run it and I will show you. Same notepad. 2 seconds wait. Right in the data. Clear? Then I need to press here Control S, then file name, then enter. Those things I need to implement. Control S. So if you want to pause Control S, there is a syntax in there. So what is the syntax? Control S. Control and the S. But you can see the document. This symbol for the control. So you can see up to now we will try to execute. Launching the application, waiting for the 2 seconds, parsing the data, then press Control S. Control S is not executed. We will check why. Small s. We wait for 1 more second here. See, Control S also executed. So now we need to pass the file name and pass the enter. Right. So those two functions are pending. So now this one I will do dynamically from the process. So first I will implement the logic here. So, and before and after using the global send keys, so you have to use the start to wait of 1 or 2 seconds. Before parsing and after parsing the global send keys, you have to take the start to create of 1 or 2 seconds. So here I will pass the name of the file. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, try to pass the name. Then after we have to click on enter symbol. Pass enter. So how to pass the enter? This is syntax to pass the enter. Okay. One second, guys. Guys. So now here I'm passing the first I'm launching the application, passing the data, passing the controllers, then passing the name, then finally I'm passing the enter symbol. Right. So as I told you, before or after keys, you have to take the participate. Right. So when you're running from the control room, so normally it will run properly if you're running from the developer like studio. If you run, it will run properly. So when you're running from the control room, so in the control room, what happened? It will run in the maximum speed. So while passing the control, we are passing the keystrokes, right? So within fraction of seconds, it won't pass the properly. That's why we have to take the static wait of at least 1 or 2 seconds before or after the global symbols. This is also another important question in the interview. Now I'm running the process. So when you're running with the global sync keys, you should not touch the keyboard. If you touch the keyboard, it won't execute. Done. Open the desktop. See, that's done. Right. So this one I will execute with the different data from the process to do. So we have to make it like that. So first I will do launch the application. The data and the name I will do pass it from my process. So we should not launch the process directly. We should check whether it's connected or not. I will check whether it's connected or not. So this launch page is static for all the applications. Any type of application you can take. So mainframe, this app, any application, this launch logic is the same. Launch, then not do anything. If not, I will try to attach. So for the attach, we have to give the process name. So if you want to know the process name of the notepad, go to task manager, the process, notepad.exe, small. .exe you need to write. So once you open the first time, so it is the, what is the window title? Untitled, right? So that one you have to pass first time. After that, whatever it may be, we did. Done. So this is about the attach. Both are not happening, we're gonna get the exception. Exception will be catched by the recovery. And in between the recovery and resume, I will launch my application. I click on it, publish it. If you want to see this action in the process today, you have to publish it. So as I told you, this data has to pass through my process. So I'm writing here. I will create this input parameters. These are the input parameters. These are the output parameters. So name also I will do pass it from the process. Consider. So we will pass it from the process. So I need to get the input parameters for the same. And so we need to publish this action as well. First I launch my application, then I will create the notepad. Right? So pass the data, control S, pass the name, enter, single pass. All the things I have done with the global send keys. Global send keys, global send key events will be used for the same purpose to pass the keys. There are some applications which global send keys won't work. In that situation only we'll go for the global send keys. So apart from that, all the applications will use the global send keys. So say the close the application. I'm gonna create the process. First, directly I will launch the application. Right? As I told you, so when you are executing the global send keys, you should not touch anything. So you should not touch the mouse, you should not touch any keys. Okay. But because when you're running the global send keys, the keys you are passing from the keyboard, right? So we should not touch anything. If we pass something, then the application will be in disable mode. pass this data. This and then data item we didn't pass the data item, so that's why it was like this. What is happening? So in the Object Studio, so we have to pass the name, right? So here we have not passed the name. The data from the data item we are giving, right? So name of the data. So now it will execute. So before the static data is there, so now I want to pass the name with the from the process, right? So dynamically. So that is why I have created the input parameters. So this data is empty now, so I will pass the name from my process. Done. Any questions? If you want to, every time name will, suppose next time if you get the same name, it's asking it asks us to replace, right? So what I will do, I will pass name dynamically. When you will execute, the different name is going to execute. So how we implement the logic is take multi-calculation stage. Dynamically, I will execute the name. So what I will take name person with the today. And now I will take now. So date now. So it will execute like this. Okay. So we here we have to this a name we should not say with this characters, right? So we have to replace those characters. Okay, so how to replace those? Replace of name that symbol with underscore. And so we need to rename it. Whenever you run n number of times also it will do execute. It's a different name, automatically it is going to create. We'll see any exception happen or how it will. This with this the file will save. Running it. Done. See, it has executed with this name. So when if I rerun it again, refresh and run it again. So name will change dynamically, but because we have used the now function. Done. See, one document, second document. I'll create one more action called terminate. Okay, after the completing the process, still that notepad is opening. Right? So I will do terminate. So terminate, launch, attach, detach, global send keys, global send key, events, everything we have to use for navigate stage and the root element. Okay. N number of times it will run, so it will create the name of the document dynamically. And it will terminate the application. Got it? And you can see the documents. 1, 2, 3. If you run it again, one more. You can see automatically that application also terminated. Any questions, guys? Pankaj, is it clear?
Yeah.
And we'll apply some exception handling. So recovery resume. In between the recovery resume, we'll take the exception details. So any exception is happening. So this is a positive path, right? So there are some time we are not passing the name. There are some times the application is not launching the not properly. So we have to handle it, right? So here you have to implement that. Right. So this is how the real time is going to implement. Okay, so rest of the topics. Just get done. Web services, database. Database we don't have access, but I will explain about the VBOs. They may ask you about how you get the data from SQL and all. That is it, and the code stage. And if you have any exercises, let me know. We can do practice in the class. We have 4 hours are there, then another extra 4 hours. 8 hours class is there. Okay. See you in the next class. Any other questions? Let me know. And this Amazon thing, please do practice it. Okay, now I will export the code for this product name, how we have executed. So for the same one, you have to add the price. So read those values and just take the dynamic path for the price and read in the same stages. Okay.
Okay. So will we be covering the Active Directory VBO as well?
No. Active Directory.
Chilu,
Yes.
could you please explain me the task that you have assigned regarding the product?
So now I'm taking the Amazon products, right? So see. So I have taken the product names, right? So you will with the product names, you have to take the price of the product also.
Okay.
So in the output file, I should have product name as well as price.
Okay. The same way that we used to spy the browser page.
Correct. Same way. But check what is the now counter is starting from 1, right? For this product is counter is the way exactly varying is from 1 it is varying. So see for these variables where exactly the varying and from what is the starting point. 1 is the starting point for the 2. So for this product price, what is the number? So from this one to this one, there's a path one place it is gonna vary exactly. So in that one place, so what is the basic value? So you have to take it that particular number and you have to assign as it is. Okay, there are some there are some in the real time we can see there are 2 places the one value is going one value is varying linearly from product to product. 2 places that is also will be there. So in the 2 places means you have to take the 2 counters. That's it. 2 counters and we have to increment the 2 counters every time. You guys will try. So if not, then I will do explain. No issues with that. And you will pop-up thing also. If you are practicing any website, while you're practicing any issues, please let me know. We can do practicing class. Okay, guys. And this code what I have done and this class video as well. So both I will do upload end of the day. One session is there. After that, I will do upload all these require some documents also there. So I will also upload those documents, and you guys can start preparing your resumes. Okay, so resumes, but the name should be unique. The project name, whatever the client you whatever in the process you can tell anything, but the project name should be uniquely. So there are some people who will say some HDFC automation, some Amazon. Some American Express and also those things you should not put. Okay, so by seeing your resume, they can come to know whether you are a proper candidate or not. So name should be unique manner. That's it. So you will take your client name and the client project name and all, and the description you can write your own way. Like I am going to interact with that application. So there is some I will get the input from Excel file. Depending upon the Excel file, I will do operations out there. So there are lots of processes you can able to create it. So first you will check the process, then I will develop. No, I will explain you. First check the manual process, how exactly in your real time is working on. So take one real process and explain me, so that I will explain you how much we can able to automate and how we can able to explain in the interview. I will modify the project and I will explain you in need to. Okay. So guys, then bye.
Sorry,
Yeah.
Rohit here. Hi. I wanted to check one thing, right? I've got an experience of around 8 years, total IT experience. So,
Okay.
what is the level of experience they're expecting in Blue Prism, right? If I'm
1.5 to 2 max.
okay, 1.5 to 2 years.
Yeah. So you should not put more than 2. If you put more than 2, they will ask for more certifications.
Okay.
So that is there. So develop AD01, you guys can try here. So we have the terms now.
Yes.
Yeah, just write out the AD01, and that will add more advantages. And if you have the certification, you can able to, that certification will cost around 5,000 and all. But in the package, that will be very lakhs. Like if you are a certified person, they will ready to pay you more, right? So that is also there. So now depending upon the criteria, you have to know.
Okay, sure.
Any other questions?
Thank you.
Yeah. Bye guys.
Thank you.